V. A very good morning once again, and many thanks for joining us for yet another exhilarating conversation, very insightful. I do have Jackson Kafuuzi. He is the Deputy Attorney General. We are going to be discussing the presidential election petition that was filed by the National Unity Platform Party. How ready is the government side to take on the challenge that has been posed by the NUP loyalists, especially the NUP leader Robert Kyagulanyi? We also do know that the Alliance for National Transformation joined this election petition contesting the just concluded presidential election. Yet, the Alliance for National Transformation did not win a single parliamentary seat. So how are you going to contest the presidential election when even at the lower parliamentary level you didn't even clinch a single seat? Well, we expected to have the spokesperson for the Alliance for National Transformation, Wilberforce Seriazi, but he couldn't make it onto the show. So we shall have Jackson Kafuuzi, the Deputy Attorney General, to let us in on some of the technicalities or the modalities of the judicial system, especially when it comes to presidential petitions. A very good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Yes. Help us understand, my viewers understand, especially what happens within the Supreme Court, what the justices focus on, the evidence adduced within the Supreme Court.
I'll try to walk a very tightrope. Try not to divulge so much because the matter is in court.
Yes.
We were served yesterday. It's all a question of evidence, how much of the evidence is presented and how much of that evidence can actually be proved to be true. Sometimes they may be merely wild allegations. They did this, they did that, and when it comes to testing the authenticity of that evidence, it may not hold water. So all cases, be it election petitions or commercial matters or land issues, they are all decided on the amount of evidence. And that depends on how you present your case, how much or how far you go to prove your case. Yes.
So the evidence the justices look at is what transpired on polling day, not the pre-election violence, the arrests, the intimidation of supporters and so forth. Won't they be factoring all that in?
It's not just what happened on polling day.
Yes.
Because the electoral process starts when you are nominated.
Indeed.
Okay. Up to the time the results are declared. So the whole thing has to be looked at. And they sum up and say whether it was sufficient, whether it affected the outcome of the actual elections or not.
Actually, according to some political experts, they are not looking at the other factors like pre-election violence, and that is the biggest contestation from members of the opposition. They're saying the justices, especially given the history of 2001, 2006, and 2016, the focus was on what happened on polling day, and that's why they would surmise and say, much as there were irregularities on polling day, they would not amount or lead to a cancellation of that particular election. They were not factoring in the fact that there were intimidations, violent episodes within the campaign period. The campaigns are not focused on. That's the information we are getting.
I'll do my best not to make a case for the petitioner here.
Indeed.
But like I said before, the judges will decide the case depending on how much evidence is presented and what part of that evidence you present. You understand?
Yes.
If you are saying you were denied, you were unable to access your audience when campaigning, the issue will be what sort of evidence or of audience, what kind of access were you expecting to get. It will all be looked at, depending on the circumstances.
And the evidence.
And the evidence. Like we ordinarily used to have rallies, and now we operated in a certain, strict legal framework. So the issue will be, how did you want to operate? Within which realm of the law did you intend to operate? You understand? You may say, no, I wanted to have a rally like any other, and we are saying, no, the law is here. So it all comes down to evidence. Yes. whatever you say, whatever you allege,
I'll stop from going to this jurisdiction, but if evidence shows that there was a security threat,
it
then
all comes down to
I
evidence.
see.
Regardless, you can present a pile and a pile of allegations, piles upon piles of allegations. It will still come down to how much of those allegations you can prove. It will come down to how much substance they carry, and they have to be tested on the law as it is or as it was at the time, together with the circumstances.
And given the fact that we are dealing with a situation whereby there is a lot of video evidence, according to the National Unity Platform Party, we've seen some few videos that have not been verified on social media, unlike 2001, unlike 2006, when the internet was not so rife in Uganda. 2016, well, there was a shutdown. There was a shutdown, so we could not get the videos that we needed. But this time round, it seems like there's video evidence of soldiers getting involved in this electoral process and so forth. The intimidation that we saw, pre-tick ballots, ballot stuffing and so forth.
My brother.
Aren't you worried?
Once again, I will say, how much of that evidence is authentic? I want to know. How much of that
It could be fabricated.
can you prove? You understand? How much of that can you prove? How much of that is admissible? How much of that can you place and say, I place it on such and such a scene, or, you know, this is where it was done. It was done by Kafuuzi in military uniform. You understand? So I'm saying you can present all these piles of allegations, even in video form, but you'll be expected to go a distance and prove them. That's why the law says he who asserts must prove. The ball is still on your court. It is still your duty and obligation to tell us, this video, this is so and so. This is such and such a place. You understand? I need not go deeper beyond that. But I know that the burden is upon those who are presenting these so-called to prove. Yes.
You do have some opposition lawyers who say they do not expect the outcome to be any different because this is a Museveni-ordained court, because they believe the judiciary is not independent. Museveni has too much influence when it comes to the judiciary. He appoints the judges, so how can they rule against him?
You see, that's where we go wrong. If you believe that it is a Museveni court, then why are you going there?
Non-violent means.
Why are you going there? Are you trying to account to your funders? If we are being realistic and we all place our faith in the judicial system, it is one of the reasons we appear before the judges. But if you're already admonishing them and saying they are going to do nothing, I do not have faith in them, why do you appear before them? Maybe that should be one of the questions they should ask. Ordinarily, they should be asked to withdraw such statements before they can seek audience. You understand? Yeah, because you are saying that you have no faith before the judges. You have no faith in the judges. And yet you are seeking justice from them. So are you being realistic? Are you being realistic? It's like saying that I know I have already failed, so maybe I'm just doing it to account to whoever funded my processes. Perhaps that's what they are doing.
What if the Supreme Court takes that surprise turn and annuls this election? What will be the next move of the state?
The law is
state lawyers.
It is within the powers of the Supreme Court to make such a decision. It's been done in other countries. It was done in Nairobi, Kenya. So they will order another election and it will be done within the prescribed period. Yes. All those are embedded within the Constitution. Yes.
How prepared are the state lawyers to take on this challenge?
It's been done before. It's not new. So there's no reason why they shouldn't be prepared. We were served yesterday, the Attorney General's office, and they are looking at the petition, and we shall respond accordingly.
Seems like you are ready for the battle between now and the next 45 days.
I mean, the law is such that whoever is aggrieved has a right to seek justice from court. So if you know that you are part of the judicial process or part of government, you are supposed to defend the government. So you expect these things to come up. And that when they come up, you do not now go to start looking for the Bible to read. You should know what to do. So we have teams in the Attorney General's chambers who are ready to do that. Yes.
You have so many people from the National Unity Platform Party who are saying they were not given enough time to collect evidence that could be adduced in court. And they're saying this is playing to a disadvantage on their side.
What do they mean they were not given enough time?
Because you had a presidential candidate who was under house arrest, then he's released last week, and then you had, they say they had little to no time. They even filed a petition even late on Monday. It's because of the weekend. It fell on the weekend, the deadline, Saturday. They could just only postpone it to Monday.
If I go into that, I'll be answering some of the queries in their petition. I would pray that we leave.
Indeed, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, give us your parting shots, Mr. Kafuuzi.
I find myself in a rather tricky situation, being the Deputy Attorney General and having to go on set to discuss a presidential petition. So I've had to avoid this and that.
Indeed. But you also needed to hear the government side of the story.
I may not have been as forthcoming as I usually am. But
yes.
I can assure you that this matter will be handled in its right time. It will be handled ably. I know there are good lawyers on either side. The Attorney General's chambers has done this several times before. They are seasoned lawyers with a good experience. I have reason to believe that it will be handled.
Deputy Attorney General Jackson Kafuuzi giving us his 2 cents on the Supreme Court petition that was filed by the, that is a National Unity Platform Party that is also being joined by the Alliance for National Transformation. Very many thanks, sir, for making the time to speak to us.
Thank you.
And of course, you're still watching Morning at NTV. We are going to take a very short breather and return with a conversation largely centered about the reopening of schools, phased reopening. We'll be right back.